I stopped posting content after postpartum and feeling really burnt out from healthcare. But now I finally understand why my brand felt stuck for so long. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brianna. I am a nurse practitioner specializing in gastroenterology. I'm also a wife, a mom, and a content creator. And today I really want to share with you guys a breakthrough that I had in my content journey through some self-reflection. I took a break from creating and posting content for a few years after having my son. And the reason why is because postpartum really hit real hard, okay? Your girl was struggling. I was struggling with becoming a new mom, struggling with being a new wife. Like I had just got married. And I also just kind of felt very strained from healthcare at the time. Like I was burnt out from healthcare. I wasn't loving it. And so nursing was hard, healthcare was heavy, and I was really just struggling to try to find joy in all of it. There was a point in time where I really didn't recognize this new person emerging, and I think that I shared with you guys a couple videos ago, but there was a time where I loved nursing. I loved getting in the field in the trenches, but I was tired. I was so tired of just the politics of it all, being treated less than, wanting you to work all these shifts but barely giving back. We're quote unquote the heroes of healthcare, but we're not being treated as such. And so I just had a disconnect with that. The same with content creation. I have been creating content since I could remember, from YouTube to Instagram to blogging, doing all of that stuff. But I felt really disconnected, and I think it was because I was just trying to identify the new Brianna and who she looked like or what that looked like. And when I came back to creating content, I felt like I had to separate everything, right? Like, if I'm not loving nursing right now, so let me just separate that and do the minimum with that. Let me reemerge and just do some fashion content. I am loving fragrances, so let me put that in a bucket. I'm falling in love with books. Let me put that in a bucket. And so I was separating everything, and I thought that that would help me grow, because it's like everybody wants to see this. Everybody wants to see lifestyle. Everybody wants to see, your different hobbies and all of those things. And I've always prided myself on not being just a nurse anyways. I had a brand back in the day with, not just being a nurse, and showcasing and interviewing nurses and nurse practitioners who were doing other things. So I've always prided myself on that. And so I thought that having clear, separated pillars for my content brand would help me out and help me grow, but it didn't. So I took the time to really get real about creating content, and is this the lane for me? Is this exactly where God would have me to go to launch into the next level? I really had to just stop and ask God, what is my purpose right now? Like, what is the gift that you have given me that I'm supposed to share with the world? And the one thing that he gave me back was that my gift has always been storytelling. From the time that I started content creation in any capacity, it has always been to share my story, to share my struggles, to share how I got through those struggles, to share my testimony and how God has helped me every step of the way. He revealed to me that my spiritual gift is storytelling. It's always been the testimonies of it all, and sharing the goodness of God through that, whether that is nursing or whatever hobby that I have, how that, has helped with my story. And I had to go back to the beginning and realize that nursing has always been at the forefront. It's who I am. It is who I have been since day one. since I was in my 20s. I've been nursing and healthcare for as long as I can remember. And when people ask you about your brand strategy or your brand story or what made you come into content, a lot of people always ask, what is one thing that you can talk about effortlessly? Like, no, you don't need a prompt. You don't need, what's one thing? Nursing is the one thing that I can talk about effortlessly, aside from like fashion and stuff like that. But nursing is the one thing. Like, it's in my identity makeup. It's who I am. And so when I think about where I started from, that has never changed. My hobbies have changed. Some things that I like or don't like anymore, those things have changed. But my career and who I am as a nurse has always stayed consistent. So I had to get really real with that because it has shaped how I take care of myself. It has shaped my view on wellness and, channeling that back into the community. It has shaped how I approach motherhood. It has shaped how I rest, how I heal, how I have learned that rest is not a reward. It's literally a requirement. And I've learned that through being burnt out in healthcare, um, working all of these shifts, doing the hustle and bustle, and then not giving myself time to heal, not giving myself time to rest. And I realized at the heart of everything, I'm a nurse, right? I'm a nurse practitioner, but I also love other things. And again, I told y'all that I built a whole brand based off not just being a nurse, because we are so much more than that. And I thought that I had to separate all of everything that I love into separate things, but really, I just need to integrate all of that. Like, I'm a nurse practitioner, but I also fell in love with the gym. I used to hate the gym, bro. I hated the gym so bad. And my husband is a gym rat. Like, he goes sometimes twice a day, and I hated it. And I had to fall in love with that, but it's because I lack discipline. So I'm a nurse practitioner, but I love the gym now, right? I'm a nurse practitioner, but I have fell in love with the fact that I am growing in my femininity. I wasn't doing that before. So now I love skincare and taking care of myself and fragrances and smelling good and body butters and body oils and all of those things. I love that, right? I'm a nurse practitioner, but I have always loved fashion. From the time I could walk, talk, whatever, I have been a fashion girly since birth, okay? I'm wearing the statement pieces, the patterns, the prints, the heels, all that stuff. I'm doing it, but I'm still a nurse practitioner in that. I'm a nurse practitioner, but I'm learning still how to be the best wife I can be, how to be the best mom I can be. You know, those are all integrated. Those are all the things. I'm a nurse practitioner, but I also need rest, and I also need to heal the parts of me that I feel like were broken and I never got the hug, that I needed to get. I'm a nurse practitioner, but I was just recently diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety. I'm a nurse practitioner, but I have found my love for reading again, which is something that I've always loved to do. However, I couldn't bear to look at another single book because I've been in school for my entire adult life. Like, I just graduated my nurse practitioner program 5 years ago. So through all that time, I'm in school back to back to back to back. And I really couldn't fathom picking up any other books, but I love books and I love Black authors and I love indie authors, and that has actually given me escape. So when I have a full day of patience and it's been tired and I'm playing with my son and all of that, books are my escape. So it's a part of me, but I'm still a nurse practitioner at the heart of it. So what I did by separating my pillars is actually confusing people about what my brand story really is. It's like, oh, all of these are separated, but how is this intertwined? Like, are you a nurse? Are you a fragrance junkie? Are you a book connoisseur? Like, and while I'm all of those things, I think trying to integrate it correctly in the right way in my brand story would give people a clear picture as this: I'm not just a nurse practitioner. I'm not just a nurse. I have hobbies and I love all of these things. And that is the pivot for me and something that I'm trying to instill in my content now, because now I know my purpose in that. Before the last year, I was posting whatever I want. I ain't got no niche. I'm going to do what I want to do. And while it was freeing, I think it also allowed me the freedom to create what I wanted to. And how I don't have to be put in a box and in a corner. But I wasn't doing that the correct way. And it was confusing my brand story. It was confusing my audience. It was stunning my growth. And I really had to pivot, and this year is all about intentionality in the brand space for me. Well, in every part of my life, but especially in the brand space, because this is something that eventually I want to do full time. And so when you want to do that full time, you really have to be intentional about what your story is, what community you're trying to build, just all of those things. And so I feel like had I discovered this sooner, I probably would have been far along, but I've learned just this week that we're not rushing God, and we're not rushing the process and the things that he wants us to learn in the interim. Because if you rush that process, I might have not gotten here. So we are not rushing the process. We are going through the process so that we can be better. So with that experience, I'm understanding now that nursing is not my limitation. It's my foundation, and it is literally the lens in which I live my life through. It is the foundation to the very person I am, the very person that loves books, that loves fragrances, that wants to be a better mom, that wants to be a better wife. I want to be a better person for me. It all starts at the heart of that. And I'm just so glad that I've actually had this eye-opening experience, by praying to God and seeking the word and just being intentional about all of those things. Because at the end of the day, I'm starting at the beginning, which is I'm not just a nurse. I'm more than that. But nursing is a part of my journey, and I can't leave that out. And I also can't separate everything that brings me joy. So let me just give y'all a piece of encouragement to take away. If you are a content creator or you have just started on this journey, do not try to separate parts of yourself to fit in a box. People are going to love you for you. They're going to love your full story, not the cut up one that you think people would love. Your life is the brand. You have something so great that people need to see. So don't try to give people snippets. Give people the raw, real, authentic you. Don't try to water yourself down so that you can be digestible. Let them choke, okay? What's for you will be for you. Your audience will find you where you are, and they will love on you. You will create community, all of those things. This is where the magic happens, okay? So don't try to water it down. You might not be everybody's cup of tea, but some people like coffee, okay? Clock it. So if this video resonates with you, make sure you like and subscribe, share, and comment. And comment, what other tips from a, content creator standpoint you might like. I've been on this journey for years and years and years, and I finally think I'm ready to share what I have learned, even though I have so much more growth to go. I definitely want to share my tips with y'all and what has helped me. And let me know if you guys have ever felt stuck, what you did to get out of the rut of content creation, or how you learned to pivot. Tell me that in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you all so much for continuing to like, subscribe, and share my videos. I hope that you return because I know you're going to love it here. Bye.